Hi friends, I'm Brian Cosby, this is Provide and Protect, and I'm at the range today, and we're doing a series on firearm fundamentals. And we did one already on weapons handling and draw and grip and that kind of thing. And right now, today we're looking at really sight alignment and how do you actually aim your weapon. I'm here with my brother-in-law, Judd, and he's a veteran, multiple tours, and so I'm really the student here today just to kind of talk through this very important piece of actually looking at the picture and knowing the target and be able to actually accurately fire that firearm at the target. We're not going to shoot anything today. These are unloaded, so we're not going to shoot anything right here. Right now, but what we do want to do is at least talk through that piece of fundamentals. So, all right. So we have two different kinds of sights on our guns, and you have the really cool sights, the iron sights. But you've done something to this. So how about you just kind of talk through that process for you and sight alignment?
Yeah. So these are just standard iron sights, but they're low light, so I can pull a little light from these. They're tritium, so you can see in the dark.
Okay.
You can acquire a target even in low light conditions, which comes in handy when you don't have a fancy arm on the back of your pistol. But I prefer these. I like running guns a little slicker than most people. And the fundamentals of acquiring a target start right up here at the front. And a lot of people, when they pick up a gun, they don't even know like, if you're just looking at that front dot here, your rounds are all going to be going above the target. So we went over target acquisition earlier, and well, I guess that's what we're doing now. But what we're talking about is lining these up to where your bullets are going to go exactly where you're pointing the pistol. So Brian's here is more of a red dot, which is...
Yeah, so, and obviously there's a big debate over iron sights and red dots. And I do think it is so necessary to be able to shoot with iron sights. I mean, most handguns out there are not going to have a red dot. And if you're in a situation, and you have to use a firearm with just iron sights, you don't want to be just, accustomed to only using this. But there is a little bit of debate, which is easier. And I really think it just comes down to practice and what you have learned to use well. So now you've changed these. You mentioned.
Yeah, these are custom. This is the
so on this, these are Glocks.
Right. His is stock. Mine is custom on the. He's obviously got custom up top, but his has the classical U frame back here. Mine has just the two dots. So I match my front sight in between these two, and he puts his in the saddle right there. But he's going to primary that. But you can still shoot these through this if the battery's dead. Yeah. Or if it breaks, because you have fancy furniture on a pistol, it can always break. You bump it into something, crack it, you're going to be back to irons. Yeah. So irons will still work. You can still shoot through that. Yeah. But that can get caught on stuff. There's all kinds of different reasons to run slick, and there's many reasons to run with a little more custom options.
And so when you were actually lining up on something, and obviously people assume this, but maybe we shouldn't assume everything here. Right. To line that up so it's even across.
So even across the top. You just want to work on drawing, presenting out to the target. Yeah. And you want to have that lined up right in the middle. Okay. And a good drill to do, even if no mag in here, it's clear. You can also work on your trigger reset at the same time. Have just a good, nice, relaxed stance. Present your rifle. And work on just that muscle memory where you can walk it right up and your sights are lined up. And you want the impact point of your projectile to be right behind this front sight post. So that's a good guide. You just follow that front sight, because that's the first thing you see when you're presenting to your target. And then once you're on target, you can work on your trigger reset, and then you can just slowly back it down. And then when you feel a reset, you can come back and represent. Yeah. And you're right back on target. So you want to make sure that you have that smooth transition on target, come back, smooth transition on target, come back. You can also do that drill from holsters. You just stand there, kind of just relaxed, slowly draw it, present to your target, bring the pistol up to your head. Don't bring your head down to the pistol. Yeah. And just work that drill, get the repeat over and over and over again. You can practice that in a safe environment. Make sure, obviously, fundamentals of safety. Always treat it like it's loaded. Make sure that there's nothing in front of you don't want to shoot.
Yeah, and you can do this at home. You don't have to be out at the range like we are today to do this part of the drill. And you know, I think a lot of people think, well, I can't even touch the firearm at all until I go out to the range. This is something you can actually just do at home, and that kind of drill is super easy to do, and even, you know, yeah, taking slide out, just working the action, doing it again. You know, with a red dot, and a lot of you guys may be curious about this. I did go to a red dot for my primary carry weapon, and I have found it took a little bit of, I don't know, transition to get to using a red dot, but I have found that instead of 4 traditional iron sights, when I go out and I draw the weapon, I'm not having to think. Of course, both eyes are open. I'm not having to try to match them up or whatever. Again, you can get very proficient in obviously iron sights, and that's what most people do, and that they're great with that. But what I found super easy about a red dot is that as soon as I see that red dot on, I'm good. There's no lining up, and so that's the advantage of a red dot. There isn't a lining up process. It's just your red dot's on and you're good to go. But I do think for most shooters, and you know, maybe you've seen this too, but for most shooters, that this is one of the hardest parts of the whole thing is not really the draw, not really the grip. Really the hard part of all of this is getting on target and
maintaining a sight
picture. That alignment. But again, this is something that you can do at home. I mean, if you're watching a movie or whatever, you know, make sure it's unloaded and all of that, of course. But there's some great things. You can use snap caps, and I have a video on using snap caps for draw, speed reloads, or you can use the Mantis system. So they sponsor our channel, so you can use that. But there's ways you can do this at home, and it's really, really, really helpful. So.
Another important thing to know if you're going to be doing these drills, if you're entry level, just trying to get into it, familiarize yourself, you need to know what eye is dominant.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing that left or right eye, you could be left eye dominant, but right-handed. So that kind of offsets your head a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what eye is dominant, the easy way to do it is just hold up your thumb and close one eye. And whatever eye is on target with that thumb, close your left eye. If your left eye has your thumb over here, then your right eye dominant, you want it to be like, put your thumb over the target, close one eye, and whichever eye you primary is the one. So you can't be practicing these drills and be swapping and swapping back and forth between your eyes. You need to have consistency with the drills. It's always good to practice offhand as well. If you're getting into it and you haven't developed too much muscle memory, because you can develop some bad habits by only working one arm, try it on the other side too. Sometimes your offhand is the only hand you have available in these situations, so you're always going to be a little sloppier. So I don't recommend going straight into live fire exercises with an offhand. But practice it too. I'm still sloppy with my offhand, but you know, you still bring it up and you acquire your target. It's a little more awkward. It almost feels like you've never done it before, but it's always good to drill offhands, and even sometimes try shooting with your non-dominant eye. You might have an eye injury in the field. You never know what can happen, but it's good to know how your body will work more optimally with how you're trying to run your guns.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us today. And if you've not already done so, please consider the like button and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you and your support. We'll see you in the next video.